Bonjour à tous and welcome to this video on the pronunciation of everyone's favourite sound in French, the R sound. Now, I actually have videos on the pronunciation of every sound in the French language, so if you'd like to practice sounds other than the R sound, then if you click the link somewhere around here, there is an introduction to this whole series. But if you're only here to practice your R pronunciation, then let's get going. So the difficulty with the French R isn't just that it's difficult to pronounce, it's that there are different realizations depending on the environment. The good news is, though, that there are no rules set in stone. So my advice with this one is to always aim for the same sound, and then if it comes out a little bit differently, well, then so be it. So the sound that we're going to aim for is this one. It's called a voiced uvula fricative, and uvula means that it happens at the back of the throat. So you're going to bring the back of your tongue upwards, similar to a G or a K, but you need to go further back. If it feels weird, that's okay. Uvula sounds are not that common, so you're probably not used to going this far back. Unlike a G or a K sound, you don't want your tongue to touch the roof of your mouth. This isn't a plosive sound, it's a fricative, so we need a little gap through which we can blow some air. Once you've got the tongue positioned, start blowing some voiced air through the gap, and you get Now to make this more of an R sound, we need to move our tongue a little bit, so let it bounce up and down. The problem, of course, is that it's not always pronounced this way, and one very common realization of this is the famous ch sound that you hear in Arabic, Dutch, Hebrew, Welsh, and a few other languages. It's actually the voiceless version of the sound that we've just done, so if you can do one, the other isn't too difficult. So basically we're going to do exactly the same thing. Raise the back of the tongue towards the back of your throat, let it rest just below the roof of your mouth, and blow some air through, but this time there's no voicing, so instead what we want is what we call turbulent air, and what that means is it's kind of messy, right? It's not a nice clean it's more of a Now, as I said before, there aren't really any rules, so if this one's a little bit easier or you're more comfortable with this one, you can use it. The only thing that I would say is to avoid it at the start of words. I've heard people say things like rouge and rire, which is okay, but it doesn't sound very natural and can be a little bit difficult to understand. Typically, this sound will come after other voiceless sounds, especially p, t, and k. In the business, we call this voicing assimilation, but really that's not important. The point is you're likely to hear words like très, crier, prier pronounced with this sound. The final realization we're going to talk about is more of a trill. It's like rolling an R like you would in Spanish or Italian, but at the back of your mouth rather than at the front. Another way to think of it is it's like gargling. So with this one, rather than just letting the air pass through, you're making the back of your tongue vibrate. Remember, of course, that this is all just guidance. Aim for something like the first R sound and let everything else happen naturally. Try your best not to overthink it, and remember that as long as it sounds something like an R, you will be understood. The spelling, as you can predict, is just with the letter R. So here we have the words rouge and reine. Given that the R is at the start of the word, it's more likely to be that first clean R sound. In the second two, we have très and crier. These start with a T and a C. These are voiceless sounds, and therefore we end up with that slightly messy sound. And then with grand and grave, for me personally, there's a trill here, just because of the G sound, which is quite close to it. But if yours isn't exactly the same, do not worry. Notre maître a regardé 3 pièces au théâtre. Notre maître a regardé 3 pièces au théâtre. And there you have it, the French R. I fully appreciate that this is not the easiest sound to make, so if you have any questions, please do let me know. I also advise you to ask other people or look at other videos to see what their advice is, because sometimes it just takes one explanation for everything to click. Thank you very much for watching this video, and until next time, à bientôt.